be solid.
Did you want headphones or no?
If you want the headphones,
No, I don't have to.
I like the headphones just because it makes me feel official.
I've worn headphones for
a long time.
I mean, I've done play-by-play of 2,000 games wearing headphones with a
Is
mic.
that right?
Yeah.
Basketball, football, baseball, wrestling, all the above.
No, not wrestling.
No?
Basketball, baseball, football. I covered the Reds in 89 and 90, about 30 or 40 home games.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you're no stranger to
I'm not the
mic.
typical chamber guy.
Which really, and I want to talk about that. Like, why? First of all, why did you even think about applying? I know you were the chamber guy down in Fairfield.
For 14 plus years, president, CEO down there.
And then this one just came through the ether somehow, and you said, I think I'm going to see what they want.
I thought so. I was doing public
Good?
television.
Am I good?
So
Okay.
I thought, hey, why not?
Okay. Good afternoon, evening, daytime,
Morning.
happy day, and welcome to another episode, Living Well Together.
Big Life in a Small Town. And we are here today with Kert
Radel.
Radel.
I knew it.
I thought you would practice that a little bit.
We
you know.
did.
Okay.
Yeah, in the car on the way over.
Yes.
But yeah, we've got our new executive director from the Fairborn Area Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
And
Exciting
Kurt
day.
floated to the top. We'll put you'll catch some of our previous conversation, but he floated to the top of like 18 candidates recently. So he's bringing a lot to the table. We're going to let him kind of share with you guys what he's bringing to the table here in Fairborn, not Fairfield, Fairborn.
And I used to work in Findlay,
Okay.
Ohio for 9 years,
yes.
and Forest Park.
Okay. And so we know, like we got the skinny on how this has gone.
We've got the cliff notes.
But a long history in radio.
Yeah.
A long history.
36 years,
And then
radio and TV.
Yeah, tell
Another
us
career,
about that.
really, though, with the Fairfield Chamber of Commerce. So obviously a successful run there. And now you're bringing your skill set to us here in thriving metropolitan tiny town Fairborn. Yeah. Let's talk about radio, though. Go back in time. Well, there's a Mrs. Radel. We just learned that.
Yeah.
Married to
45 years.
the same woman.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, Tammy.
The key to my marriage is yes, dear.
We have the same key.
Yes. You can move a project down the road, but you're going to do what she wants.
Yeah. And you know what's really cool is sometimes they make it feel like it was our idea. You know, they
She
kinda-
never does.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
So 45 years with Mrs. Radel, and there's two young Radels. We just
Matt,
got to
who will
see
be
them.
44 in May, and
Strapping.
Andy, who will be 38 in May, and one grandson who's 14.
Nice. See, the thing I love about this is it's going to let our listeners and viewers kind of get to know who's running the shop
Yeah.
downtown in Fairborn.
And all the fun things that Kurt has going on here in our community.
So much stuff.
Really pumping it up.
But let's go back to radio. Any television or just radio?
I did TV first when I transitioned from radio one phase. I was selling for Time Warner. So I could put you on ESPN, HGTV, History Channel, and all that.
Got it.
Hated
That's
it.
the new version.
I
of
hated
tech.
it. I hated working as a sales guy.
Yeah.
But I got back into running Kiss Country up in Dayton, Springfield, or as we say,
Yep.
Kiss Country 101.7.
There it is.
Okay, so I have a question for you. Karen Kelly Brown
Or Butch.
or Butch Brown?
We've
Okay.
got some friends.
That's after.
That was after? Okay.
Yeah, that was a long time. That was about 16 years ago as a Kiss.
Okay. All right.
I mean, we did, My Jocks introduced every concert that came to town.
Okay.
We did a thing with Diamond Rio where we had a Kiss Country Bud Zone up in the balcony.
Nice.
I sold that. And then we had it before the concert, you could go backstage, a winning contest winner.
Okay.
And also our major sponsor could go backstage along with my wife and meet Diamond Rio.
Hello.
I interviewed him earlier in the week, so I didn't have to go backstage.
Right?
But no, I started in radio. Actually, when I was in high school, I wanted to be in radio. So I had an intercom show every morning for 15 minutes doing the announcements and playing music.
Nice.
I was the first
Before the high
person
school.
in the high school at Green Hills, and before anybody else played Rod Stewart, I played Rod Stewart.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So from there, I got my first job. I interned at a country station in Cincinnati, wrote jokes and that kind of stuff. And then I got my first job in Sarasota, Florida,
Wow.
playing big band music
Ooh.
at 21.
Okay.
Then I came back home when Mom was ill, and I went to Middletown and became what is called an operations manager, who I decided the programming for both radio stations, stayed there 5 years. And then from there, I went to Findlay, Ohio, where I was the sports director and program director and DJ.
Okay.
So I did a lot of things. And then from that, I transitioned to coming back home. We owned a station in Hamilton. I ran that for 17 years. And I've done over 2,000 games, play-by-play of high school football, basketball, and baseball.
See, this makes it sound like you're 114 years old.
yeah.
This many there's that many there.
I'm
What
not
year?
good at
And don't
at
tell us
math.
your age. I don't want to know that. What I want to know is what year were you spinning Rod Stewart on the waves in high school?
70 and 71.
Thank you. See, no more calls. We have a winner.
Yeah.
I
But no,
love
I mean,
that.
I always wanted to do play-by-play, had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And when I do games, there's a school in Cincinnati in Fairfield, Hamilton, called Hamilton Baden. Nice ballpark, but they have you can park beyond the left field fence and the right field fence. So, and they would
means
listen to the
windshields
radio. They listen to the radio, and sometimes the windshield would be
Windshields
broken.
are fair game.
So I said to the umpire, give me a little extra time between the innings. So when we came back, I said, okay, everybody in left field, beep your horn. Beep, beep. Everybody in right field, beep your horn. Beep, beep. Then I signaled the umpire, continue on with the game. And then a good friend of mine, the old left-hander, Joe Nuxall, when we had the Miami-Hamilton baseball field, he came out to throw out the first pitch. Nice. And I was broadcasting the game.
Okay.
And he had a game that night, a Reds game with Marty Brenneman.
Yep.
So the idea was Joe would throw out the first pitch, come up to me, be an inning, go to the Reds game. After the first inning, we want to thank the old left-hander. Second inning, Joe's still there. Third inning, Joe's still there. Fourth inning, between the top of the fourth and bottom of the fourth, I said, Joe,
You got
to get to the Reds game.
Right.
He says, you let me do more than Marty does. You're more fun. So, I had fun broadcasting, but yeah, we've called state championships in football, basketball, and baseball.
Nice.
I covered the Cincinnati Reds in 89 and 90.
Okay.
About 30 or 40 home games. I'd be at the batting cage before the game. Then after the game, I go in the clubhouse. And I was there when Lou Piniella, in 1990, they won the World Series.
Okay.
If the Reds lost a game, you did not want to interview Lou.
Got it.
And he got into a fist fight with his reliever, Rob Dibble,
my
in the
gosh.
clubhouse. And I was 10 feet away, and they were swinging.
Okay.
Pretty good.
So brushes with fame. Lots of good brushes with fame.
Well, I mean, no, but one of my best interviews was with an actor named Richard Crenna,
Okay.
who played the Colonel in Rambo, and he's played a lot of TV shows and everything else. His wife had a flower shop in Lebanon, Ohio.
Oh, wow.
So I interviewed him for about 2.5 hours, and he was in the old TV show called The Real McCoys
Okay.
with Walter Brennan. And he told me how Walter Brennan wanted the hat to be just right, and
Okay.
he got it dirty, and he stomped on it, he kicked it, he did everything he could. So it was a great interview with him.
Okay.
But
Let's
my
get a
best
picture. Make
interview-
sure we get a picture of Richard Crenna.
Was Peter Yarrow, Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Yes.
They were coming to Toledo, and we're working in Findlay. So we had a contest. FIN listeners went to see them.
Okay.
And then the interview went so well, Peter says, why don't you come backstage afterwards and have wine and cheese with Paul, Mary, and me?
That's what they
Great.
call it back then, was wine and cheese.
That's what they got. So that's what he called
Why
it.
don't you come back for some wine and cheese?
Yes. So we're ready to go, and my wife is 8.5 months pregnant. And I said,
my gosh.
I said, let's go backstage. And she says, I'm going home. I'm taking the car.
Oh.
If you want to go, you go backstage, but you have to thumb your ride back home.
Yeah, no Uber then.
So I never went. Yeah, I did not go backstage.
Oh. It's different when you're 8.5 months pregnant, that you kind of rule.
Oh,
the
everything.
world.
Yeah, the world's
Yeah.
a different place, I'm sure. I'm sure. And
That's
so,
so
Peter, Paul, and
exciting,
Mary, who else in music land? Who else would we know that you've brushed?
I've interviewed a lot of people. William Wyndham, the actor, endless country artist, regular artist. I know when T.G. Shepherd came to Tiffin.
Yep.
I was in his trailer. I never asked for autographs.
Yeah.
But my wife loved T.G. Shepherd. So I got an autograph poster for. But one of the fun ones was when I was in the chamber in Fairfield, we had Shelley Fabre, who starred on Coach
Yep.
and also the Donna Reed Show, and was Elvis's favorite actress.
Okay.
She was in 3 of the movies with him.
Make sure we get a picture of Shelley Fabre.
So with Shelley, she came and
These are hotties from back in the
we
day.
we had a great time. She came out to our lunch. We had a big lunch of about 350 people there to see Shelley Fabre, and it was just a great time. She was super to work with.
Nice.
That's so fun.
Super fun. And then so from high fame all the way down to interviewing like high school athletes and calling ball games in a high school gymnasium. That's a broad spectrum career.
Yeah, but it's fun. You do a ball game, you get excited. It's like March Madness that you have in college ball.
Right.
You have that in high school ball. The kids work hard. I remember also I was hired to do some network stuff in Little League Championship Baseball in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And they would listen to the games in the grocery store and everything else. And so here I'm doing a game for Chicago, for South Carolina, whatever it may be. It was a regional championship. Yep. And you talk to the parents between they listen to the game. Well, who should I say hi to back home? So we made it a more friendly broadcast.
Sure.
So I had fun doing that.
So traditional radio, the radio from back in the day, is different today. How?
Well, the difference is people think that Sirius radio is hurting commercial radio. It's not. The problem that hurts radio is too many commercials.
Got it.
So when you stop and you hear commercials, that's called a stop set.
Yes.
And there are some, when I worked at Kiss Country, the consultant said you break 2 hours, 2 times per hour, but we would break up to 14 minutes, 12 to 14 minutes.
Okay.
And you could play a lot of spots in that time.
Wow,
Right.
yeah.
So that became a bit too much.
Yeah.
And AM radio, what hurt AM radio was the signal, not as good a quality.
Right.
Because when I went to Findlay, I had an AM station and I had a 15 share, which is great.
Okay.
Then there was a thing that came out called Urban Cowboy
Yes.
that made FM radio really popular.
Okay.
And we had an automated system on the FM in Findlay during the midday, and I was live.
Got it.
The guy who recorded in Sacramento was beating me in ratings, and they would call, "Can we talk to Mike?" And I make every excuse. He's he's not available. He's in the restroom. He's actually in Sacramento.
Yes.
That kind of thing. But radio has changed. But if you still understand the basic core
Yes.
of reacting and reaching the local community.
Yeah.
When I did high school football on Friday nights, we started our pregame at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
I sent reporters out all over the county to cover many, many games.
Yeah.
At halftime, we had all these reports. After the game is over, we did a 90-minute scoreboard show. And coaches who were on the road coming back in their buses called us up and talked about the game as well. It ran very well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you find your niche.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing in the chamber world. You find your niche.
Got it.
And that's why you make the transition from radio to television. When you say, why did I go in the chamber world?
Yep.
It's very simple. Before I got my first paycheck, I was working with chambers as a volunteer. Every radio station I was at, we belonged to 3 to 4 chambers at one time.
Okay.
So I helped Hamilton with her expo, did other things. Also, I was an ambassador. When I was at Kiss Country 101.7, I was on the board of directors of the Urbana Chamber of Commerce and ambassador at Springfield Chamber of Commerce.
Got it.
So I understand what the chamber can do as an impact
Yes.
for the business community.
That's a nice segue. So moving out of radio and TV, excuse me, to Chamber Town, Chamber World.
That's what we call the chamber world.
Yeah. But it sounds like a pretty natural transition for you.
Yeah.
You're still dealing with the customer, which is the businesses.
Yep.
You do that in small market radio to large market radio because what you're trying to do, if you're making a buy with me, I'm a general manager at Kiss Country, I'm selling advertising, everything else, you want to have results.
Yep.
Right.
So you talk about what are your needs, what are you trying, who are you trying to reach? The same thing with the chamber world. The difficulty in the chamber world, 3 out of 5 people who walk in a chamber office don't know what a chamber does. Lisa told, Graham to go to the chamber.
Right.
Graham walked, why am I here? Lisa told me I'm here. Well, first of all, I have to do a client needs analysis, a CNA, to find out what is your business about?
Yeah.
Who's your customer base? How far does your customer base reach? Is it 5 miles, 15 miles, 20 miles, whatever it may be? Then we talk about the benefits because a chamber in 20 seconds can save you money on your business operation and promote and market your business. That's what a chamber can do.
That's called
Then
commerce.
you get into the nuts and bolts of how you can do it. And that's the difference.
And so that's a value-driven system. In other words, if you can't explain to somebody in the community who is local or owns a business, if you can't say to me, here's the value of your dollars as a chamber member, it's probably not fair to expect dollars as a chamber. Because we would, when we were in school, this is before the internet, way back before the interwebs, we were looking at different areas to go live when I was going to graduate from chiropractic college. And we would contact the Chamber of Commerce. We contacted 5. We looked at, because this is back when USA Today was a thing, and they would publish every year the top 25 most livable cities. And so we looked at, and we picked 5 to think, okay, here's where we would start our life. And so we contact the chamber, we contact a realtor, and let them say, here's why it'd be smart for you to set a business here. And Fairborn's where we landed because it didn't meet any of our criteria. There's no ocean.
It definitely wasn't on the top 20.
No. But you know what? When you listen to what God's up to and the opportunity that floats
So
in
much
front of
better
you
than
was
USA
stupid to
Today.
say no to. Yeah, it topped any chamber conversation we ever had. So we got to plug in here. But yeah, that's the idea, is to help bring value to local business and say, here's how we can help pump it up for you.
Because it seems like everybody knows that there's a chamber in their community, but I don't think people know.
Ohio has more chambers than any other state.
Wow.
And a strong state chamber, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a state organization.
There's an Ohio Chamber of Commerce. And
Yes.
there's a National Chamber of Commerce too.
Okay.
So Kurt, could you walk us through, like, when somebody first starts to talk to you about becoming a chamber member, what that looks like?
It's a conversation where I let them do the talking, and the fact is I direct them. Tell me about your business. How long have you been in the business? Are you getting customers? Are you not getting customers? What kind of marketing are you doing? Is it working for you? I can tell you if radio can work for you, print. Print, for example, newspapers. If your customer base is 55 plus, buy newspapers. Not a lot of people are going after that age group.
Right.
Therefore, you're seeing a huge shrinkage of newspapers.
Right.
You look at your newspaper. One day it's this thick.
Right.
Another day, Sunday, it's thicker. It's based on how much advertising. That
100%.
determines how the size of your paper. Most people are not using print. Billboards. Are billboards effective? I can tell you if they are or not. How long can you look at a billboard if you're driving a car?
Not very.
1.8 seconds.
Okay. Yeah.
And people put so much information on a billboard.
Oh my gosh, I know.
When I was in Findlay Radio, we had a gentleman called Paul Harvey. He did stories, he did newscast. All I did was put a big picture of Paul and said, Paul, WFIN.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you tuned to my
Bingo.
radio station, I told you how you could hear Paul Harvey.
100%.
I didn't need to put all those times up there.
Yeah.
So people don't understand about the clutter, how what you're trying to achieve in any advertising or for a chamber member in advertising. Think of the best green field you ever could have. I'll never have a yard like that, but that's what you want to have. And then you want to have one single flower that stands up. The grass represents the clutter of your competition. That flower is the fact that you're rising above and getting the bulk of the business.
Got it.
How can you achieve that? So through the chamber, what we can do, we have a number of programs. We can save you on your health insurance, workers' comp, HR consulting, credit card processing. It goes on and on what we have. In marketing, how can you market your business? What are you currently doing? How are you doing it? TV's bad. It costs too much. Well, let me show you how. Radio. Nobody's listening to radio. Yes, they are. But you have to understand what you're buying and where it's going to be placed. I had a glass shop. I put him on the last newscast on Friday afternoon and the first newscast Monday morning. Why? You're working at your house during the weekend. I need a new window. I got a broken window. So they hear your commercial.
Timing's everything.
But you have to hear a commercial or see a commercial. How many times do you think before it resonates to you where you get the full amount?
I think 25.
3.
3?
I was going to say 7.
3 times. You do it in multiples of 3.
Oh, I see. In a row. Like
So,
three
for
in a row.
example, if a restaurant has a 2 for $5 deal,
Yeah.
the first time such and such restaurant has a 2 for $5 deal. Second time, you pick up with the first sandwiches. Third time, you put it all together. That's why you see the same commercial hit you over and over and over again, is because they're trying to pound it in. I don't like that. I once had a client who wanted to, in a 15-second commercial, put in about 7 different ideas.
Right.
I said, you can't do it.
Keep it simple.
I'll take your money, but I'm telling you, it won't work. We put it on, it didn't work. I said, if you still want to do it, 60-second commercial. You want more money? No, I'm telling you what will work.
Sure.
But I'll take your money. Chamber world's different. That's why we here at the Fairborn Area Chamber of Commerce, we have great programs, great events, but we're also adding some things that we can get to as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And you stepped into, and I'm sure you checked this out before you said yes to taking this position, but you stepped into a pretty well-run chamber. Am I right?
Yes, I mean, we have here, started November 12th.
Uh-huh.
We had the prayer breakfast before Thanksgiving,
Right.
2 weeks later.
Right.
Less than a month later, we had the Christmas open house. Then we come back with the Fairborn Night at Wright State.
Yep.
So in my first 4 months, I had 3 events. Then
All
we
of
move
which
on.
you got to step into. They're kind of already laid out. You just had to figure out how to keep
Yes,
the
I mean,
reins
what
on
you
it.
try to do is you don't change what you're doing because they've been doing it.
Right.
What you do is you take a look at it. Next time around, how can I do better unless it's something glaringly
Sure.
jumps out.
Right.
But then you look and see, what are we missing? What pieces do we not have
Yeah.
Yes.
that we need to augment the chamber overall programming? And so that's what we're doing here. We're adding new programming, new energy, new ideas from there.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, and it does sound like you've got some new things happening. That you want to talk about those new things?
Yes, one of the
Okay,
things
yeah.
I like for you to be on the committee, we're doing Women in Business to educate, elevate, and empower women in business. Between now and next May, they will decide what kind of events they may have. They may have a lunch and learn. They may have a networking after hours. They may do a project with nonprofits. They may want to have special speakers in. I endorse it. I already have a chair. Carrie Martin from our board
Sure, yeah.
is going to chair it. We already have 7 ladies who wish to be on the
Good.
committee. We want to build that up.
Great.
Then come next June, prior to next June, we are going to have an awards luncheon to recognize women in business, large company, medium size, small, nonprofits, etc. This committee will determine the criteria of the nominees,
Yeah.
how to get the nominees, interview the nominees, and select the nominees, and then put the event together. My job is to make sure how we're doing it so it works ahead for us. So this will become an annual event, the Women in Business.
Beautiful.
I love that you guys are planning so far ahead.
Well, you can't just
make it
throw.
good.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't take something and just say, "Okay, here it is," and then they find me running it, and they're going to lose interest. They need to take ownership
Yeah.
because one of the things, which I'll explain in a minute, I believe in giving back to the community. Another new program we're starting this year is called Fairborn Connects. This is where nonprofits and churches can meet on a monthly basis in the afternoon, right before you go home to work, because there's a lot of morning meetings and everything else. Let's have an afternoon meeting.
Okay.
They are going to also promote the events they have. They're going to share their common interests, concerns. My job is to bring in chamber members who can save them money on their operation, save the church money. Like, for example, one of our members saved, it's on the website, the Fairborn Senior Center. Ellen is saving money on her energy cost,
Got it.
and she's a nonprofit. So we'll bring that to Fairborn Connects. Now, if they wish to reach out to a nonprofit, that'll be great. We can help them there.
Yep.
So we're doing that. We're also starting a new program called Leadership Fairborn. This is going to be, there's leadership classes. I've run 12 of these and everything else. And typically you go 1 full day a month and you pay a lot of money. And they're very good.
Yeah.
You have to find the niche in your market. So in Fairfield, we did half days.
Got it.
9 a.m. to 11:45. You can be back in the office.
Yeah.
You're going to learn about healthcare, education, nonprofits, who protects you, the police and fire, conversation with elected officials. We also have an agreement with the base to go on there for leadership development and then have a tour of the base. It'll run from the fall through May of next year. And we have a very low price for that
Yeah.
to be in this class. And I've had class after class. One class graduated in May, late May, and the chair said, I lost my sheet of everybody. This is in August. Would you send it to me? I said, well, why? Well, we had so much fun, and we had so many, we want to get together for a reunion.
Gotcha.
I said, it's only been 2 months. Yeah, but we miss each other.
That's so
So let's
funny.
connect.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do, is to bring that to the chamber as well.
Okay.
Yes, will it be a revenue source? Yes, it will be. But here's something we do. On the end of the first meeting, we divide the class into 2 groups. This half room goes over here, pick a chair and a co-chair. This half goes over here. Give me a name of your team. Some strange names they pick, but it's their decision. Between now and the next meeting, you decide what nonprofit you wish to engage with. So you may want to work with a food pantry that has a 5K and be a volunteer for a day. In Butler County, there are a lot of kids who sleep on the floor, unfortunately. There's an organization that makes bunk bed kits. So I came up with the idea. I had 2 firemen in our class. He says, the fire chief, go ask him. Chief, I have a big ask. What is that? He says, what do you want? Don, this is what I want. I want you to take your ladder truck and everything else out from inside and put it outside the building. You want me to do what? For one Saturday morning, do this. He agreed. Chief Bennett, great man, retired, great. He saw the vision. On that Saturday morning, we had 42 volunteers. We built 30 bunk beds in 3 hours and delivered 20 that day.
Oh, wow.
That's the impact
Yeah.
that the Fairfield leadership class had. I want the leadership class of Fairborn to have that kind of impact in learning. You're going to make business connections. You're going to grow your business because of that.
Yes.
But you're also going to give back to the community.
So who are your ideal members that you're looking for this leadership program?
Anyone.
So
Anyone.
Who are you reaching out to?
I have had people.
Do they need to be chamber members?
Yes. Okay. You have to be chamber members to be women in business. You have to be chamber members to be in Fairborn Connects.
Okay.
And you must be chamber members for leadership.
Got it.
But here's the thing is, I've had people from the library. I've had people from city government. I've had health officials. I've had manufacturing, because you take a tour of manufacturing. And from all business sector.
Right.
They all come in, they mesh together. And what's beautiful, when they go to manufacturing, they think there's sawdust on the ground, it's back 1940s. They don't understand that a lot of manufacturers are using $1.5 million computers to run their operation.
Sure.
So they learn about that.
Yeah.
So those are the type of things that the leadership does. It empowers you. I recently, before I came here, a municipal judge in Fairfield retired. So I went there, a lot of city people, a lot of people from the community. I counted one day one moment as they're eating cake and everything. 35 to 40% of the people in the room went through my leadership class.
Okay.
A former assistant city manager, now city manager. Former department head here is now assistant city manager. A fire official here is now assistant fire chief. Person here was not in management and in business is now in management.
Amazing.
So that is the impact of that.
And you run that program yourself?
Yes. I mean, we have a staff of Janine Bowman, who does a great job. She's fantastic. Her job is also keeping me in line, which is a full-time job.
No small task.
Yes. But she works 3 days a week.
Okay.
So it's her and me and the board, and we have a great cast of ambassadors
Yes.
run by Linda Hall.
The red coats.
The Red Coats. They do a great job. They come to every event.
Yeah.
And very much engaged. Without them, we could not do what we do.
Sure.
Right.
So they become the backbone. But I will, in answer to your question, I put the classes together. I facilitate the classes, make sure it's there, get everything lined up, and I take full ownership of the class.
Got it. Yeah.
So that's what we do.
So you wear one of those big stovepipe hats and a little whip. And
No,
a little stool.
when I go to manufacturing, I don't understand what they're doing, but and then I'll do other things. I'm going to have roundtable discussions. I hope to bring our congressman in for that, our elected officials at state level, city, county, because one of the things you also need to do, a chamber has to be connected to the city, county, state, federal. So if you as a chamber member have an issue with the city, county, state, you have a business advocate to
Nice
me.
to know who's in charge of some of that stuff.
You may not like the answers I find out,
Right.
but you may not have the time to deal with this. I will deal with it.
Yeah, those connections are priceless. All that, everything you're talking about is just connecting people. 100%.
That's all you're trying to do.
Nobody's getting through this alone.
No.
You'll never see like a successful hermit.
And I have not had an original idea in 10 years. I steal from everybody.
100%.
But it's how you shape it.
Amen.
I mean, we had, for example, we may do it here after COVID. You wanted to do something. So one of my employees and I had a blank sheet of paper. I said, we need an event outdoors. So we created what we call the corporate challenge. And the corporate challenge, we went to the park. We paid all of $20, $10 for each shelter. They gave us everything else free.
Nice.
And we had a adult tricycle race,
Nice.
a
Very
soccer
fun.
shootout, a volleyball shootout, a basketball shootout, volleyball, an inflatable obstacle course, and we had pickleball.
Oh my gosh. That
And we
must have been a
served
blast.
lunch, and the winning team got a trophy, and then we got a chamber member to have an opportunity to showcase how what their catering was offering, cater up to an office up to 15 people.
Oh, that's so cool.
So we did that called the corporate challenge.
Have you done that since then?
I did that for a couple of years,
Yeah.
and when I left, the person who came in decided to do some other things, which is fine. You put your own stamp.
Right.
Of course.
However, I created one event that she's continuing, which is called Career Fest, because at Fairfield, they have 10,000 students in the system.
Oh, wow.
So at the junior and senior high school, they have 1,800 students.
Okay.
So I talked to the superintendent, and working with the city of Fairfield and working with also Ohio Means Jobs, we created Career Fest where we had 42 companies in there in different zones.
Nice.
And the students could find out about those particular companies.
Nice.
And they're still doing that.
And I think something like that would fly here. I don't know if that's on your list of things to do, but I bet something
What
like
you do
that
is you
would fly
find
here.
out, what they're doing at the Fairborn schools. They have wonderful schools. They're doing wonderful work here. How can we augment what you're doing?
Right. And how can we supply you business owners, people who are going to be ready for the workforce? How do we connect young people who want to enter the workforce with people who are there and need employees?
I did one program. I did 38 of these.
Okay.
Called Reality Check.
Yep.
I did it in radio. I made money. You make money in radio.
Sure.
When I went to the chamber world, I showed them how to do it. We told ninth graders they're 25 and married. They pick one of 42 careers based upon their GPA. And then we set up the gym like a highway of life.
Yep.
The first booth you go to, you have ping pong balls marked from 0 to 3.
That's how many kids you get.
You have no kids. You got a 0. Terry's got 3. So you go and you got a certain amount of money based upon your income. You're joining, your husband. Okay. So you go, you buy the biggest SUV you can. Then you go and you buy the biggest house. You got no kids, but you buy a 5-bedroom house.
Yeah.
Before the show's over, you run out of money.
Yes. You
Is
run
it
out
a
of
game
money-
show?
Run
No.
out a month at the end
We
of the
send
money.
you to consumer credit agency and go, Lisa, why did you do that?
Yeah.
You did not need an SUV if you have no kids. You did
So
not
these
need
are ninth graders?
ninth graders.
Yeah.
Then at the end of the show, you have a career tech, like we would have. They have a wonderful in Xenia. Dave does a great job of the Greene County Career Tech.
Yep.
You would have them there. You would have Wright State there. You would have Clark State there. You would have showing them the next level.
Yeah.
So if they're a ninth grader, and like let's say you have the high GPA, so you had 42 careers.
Okay.
I'm dumb. I'm the low GPA. I had 18 careers. So it gives me a shot in the arm.
Yeah.
If I want to do the kind of jobs you are, I need to
pick up my game.
I need to pick up my game in school.
Pay more
Right.
attention. Yeah.
Yeah, no, these are brilliant things. And every
That's
community,
so interesting.
you know,
It's
the
called
more we
reality
grow
check?
those young people,
Reality check.
there's no losers in that equation.
No, there's not. I mean, I remember one day I would put one car dealer at one end of the show and the other side. You're simply dividing the traffic.
Yeah.
And he comes up. It's a Ford dealership. He says, "My family is Chevy only." I said, "Well, son, today you're Ford.
Yep.
Go to Ford dealership."
Yep. Little family bias.
Right. And you guys do chamber chats how often?
We do chamber chats every month.
Okay.
If it's a particular event like this year, our annual awards dinner is May 9th.
Okay.
Because Easter is so late in the
Yes.
year.
April 20? No.
Yeah, April 20th. That's
Okay.
when our Easter egg hunt is.
Yeah.
Is that we moved it May 9th. We try to get a week earlier, not available. So we're doing it May 9th. We also introduced a new program last year called the Wine Walk in July, which is great.
Yes.
They're also, of course, doing the car show in September.
Right.
The golf outing is in August.
Okay.
And then we have the 3-day Halloween festival that we host in the third week of October. Then we have the prayer breakfast before Thanksgiving. And then we have the Christmas open house.
Right. It is a full
And then it
slate.
starts all over again.
Then it starts all
So
over.
are those considered chamber chats?
On the month that you have a chamber, like for example, the dinner, that's a chamber chat.
Okay.
When we
What
have
about the golf outing?
the golf outing is not. That's a
Okay.
separate thing.
Okay.
But we try to have it on a different night from there. I mean, we're going to have a night where we're going to go to the Dayton Dragons game.
That'd be fun. Did
and
you ever
which-
call that game?
No, when I worked at Radio 1 in Dayton with Kiss Country 101.7, I consulted Wing Sports, and at that time we carried the Dragons.
Oh, gotcha.
So we had a wing night at the Dragons game.
Yes.
Got it.
So, but I always loved minor league baseball.
Yes.
I used to when I was wanting to do play-by-play, I would call a baseball team and said, "Can I rent a little press box? I'm going to bring a tape recorder." My dad at the time kept score, and they said, "Great." So I went to a number of minor league ballparks, Indianapolis, Louisville, and did ball games
Awesome.
and learned how to do a game, learned how to keep score by myself.
Right.
If you had to read my score sheet, I can go back to the first inning. You would have trouble because I have my own code
Yes.
for how I keep the score.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the kind of thing you do. So we're bringing to the chamber. We need the members to understand in businesses. You need a chamber because we're going to save you money on your operation. And if you need marketing, now if you're a manufacturing company, you don't need marketing.
Right.
You need something else. What else do you need? Let's go to those particular events. Maybe you're having trouble with HR. We can provide that particular service. Maybe you have some leaders that you want to move up, have them as part of the leadership Fairborn class.
Tell us about this upcoming chat. This is a little different.
Well, this is going to be past the date of
What we
this
did
job.
on that as we go forward,
Yes. As
we go forward,
Yes.
we had a chat talking about social media marketing because a lot of small businesses may not have the expertise nor
you
the
go.
time. So we're doing we did basic one-on-one marketing, how to enhance your Facebook, how to enhance using emails, and also making your website consumer friendly. In addition to that, if you wanted to buy radio, television, or print, I tell you the good, bad, and ugly of what it's all about.
That was a great event, by the way. You guys should have been there.
Yeah, you should have been there. It was a great event.
Yeah. A good time was had by all. But the information is contemporary. And you're right. A lot of
It's very
local people
contemporary.
that they own a business, but they don't know how can I take things to the next level with their social media.
But like in April, we're going to Packy's Sports Bar for networking afterwards. So we're doing that kind of thing.
Yep.
So we're doing different things. We're recognizing we have a member in the chamber who's also on the board, Jamie's Tire and Auto Service, 50 years old.
Right.
Jamie's not that old.
Right.
Well, he may be that old, but
He was in diapers when that was
Yeah,
manifesting.
could have been.
Yeah.
But a shout out to Jamie for what he's done and
Yeah.
everything else. He's a great guy. He's on my board.
Yes.
So I appreciate. He's one of my bosses. Is that kind of scary?
He's learning. He's in the learning
I know
phase.
there were some flexing going on.
Oh, that's okay. Some transitional stuff.
Yeah.
The other thing I was curious about, though, is what roles the chamber playing in the 70th anniversary. Is it 70 years?
75.
75.
Yeah,
So we've got a big
I'm on a number of different committees.
Okay.
So with those committees, one of those is Downtown 75.
Got it.
So we're working with them. I have a meeting coming up that I'm going to help them on what their needs are, what they're trying to achieve, and go along from there. There's also going to be a UFO event this summer.
That would be very
about time.
fascinating.
I've been
is
attending
about time.
UFO meetings.
Well, the aliens have
that.
been neglected long
Yes,
enough.
I know.
We need to represent them in
Yes,
business,
yes,
right?
we do. I mean, I go back to the original Star Trek of the 60s enjoying, that kind of thing.
And there's another event, the Dayton Designer House. People are they're renovating a house, and I don't know if we've got anybody scheduled for this project or not, but on Central. Is it 66 Central?
66 Central. Yes.
The Dayton Designers organization is renovating a home here in Fairborn, which is a big deal.
Yeah, the Interior Design Guild.
I just got some information on that today. We'll bring that up again in the not too distant future.
Right.
But
Are you
does the
guys
chamber have a
involved with
role in
that?
that?
I'm sure we will be.
Promote it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as I was talking to a member today, saying, what do you need out of the chamber?
Yeah.
And he says, I need this, I need that. I said, okay. There are times a member will need something
Yes.
that's not on a written page
Okay.
of benefits. Okay, let's get it done.
Yeah.
Can you give us an example?
Example is we had a chamber member, my previous chamber, had a particular issue. They had redesigned their restaurant. And the city had an issue with the design.
Okay.
So what I did, I knew her very well. And so I was the chair of the design review committee, designing signage. So when they came for their presentation, I said, that was an excellent presentation. What does everyone else think? I turned to my co-chair who, I thought it was very good.
Yeah.
City have any comments? No. Do I have a motion for it to pass?
Bingo.
Yes. Do I have a second? Yes. All in favor? She says, it passed in 2 minutes. But then I had another one. We have a Mercy Hospital in Fairfield. They have property next to them that's gone undeveloped. It was owned by farmers. A lot of farmland is still owned down there. They finally were able to purchase it, but there were a lot of questions. So on their behalf, because it was coming off of 275, they used to have weeds up to here. And I live 2 minutes away, so I wanted that to change as well. I went before City Council 3 times and the Planning Commission 3 times. It passed 28 reservations or points you had to do, but it got passed and it's being developed. So that's an example. But then another example may be a chamber member. I remember they had some cars, you take the parts out and you just leave the car and it looks like a junkyard.
Yeah.
So the city came up with an ordinance, you could only have X number of cars.
Okay.
So a member came in and said, Kurt, you know my business. I have them behind the business building and I have them in a fence and it's nice. But if I have to go with this ordinance,
Yeah.
I got to leave town.
Yeah.
Take a seat, call the Economic Development Department. What can we do? Tell him he's fine. That's
Friends
not
in the
written
right
in the
places.
benefits.
No,
it's making connections and
Absolutely.
explaining what is business friendly
Yeah.
and what makes sense for the businesses.
Yeah.
Because Fairborn is a city in the motion. You want to have growth. You want to have progress.
Right.
That's what our city manager wants. That's what our mayor wants. City council wants. Everybody, they're great over there. And you work with them to try to achieve that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
To move that forward. Yeah. That's awesome.
That's a great segue into what else, if anything, would you like to cover? Any other brushes with fame? Any other anything that you don't want our listeners or readers or viewers to know about? Anything we should keep under?
Well,
our hat?
I'm on TV now, which is kind of scary because when I hosted nonprofit television, I used to tell people, I still tell people, if you want a real scare, because we were high def, I'll show you where you can go and see me on screen. So that was a little. I did do a fun thing down there. I'm a history nut. I don't read fiction, history. I read 2 to 3 books a week.
Nice.
Right now, I'm reading on Secret Service,
fun.
presidents. I'm really
Yeah.
big on that kind of.
Okay.
There's a museum in Batavia, Ohio that has fighter jets from World War II.
All right, sir.
So we shot on location with a fighter jet behind me as a background.
Oh, cool.
And they had one plane that the Nazis had. So we had to stand up from there and then we shot what is called the B-roll of what they had and everything else. Tony, the great editor, put it all pieces together and they're actually going to submit that for an award.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
That's
that kind of
phenomenal.
thing.
Nice.
And you're doing another thing where it's radio chamber?
Yes,
Okay.
there's Real Roots Radio.
What is it?
Real
Real
Roots
Roots.
Radio.
Real Roots Radio. Okay.
Classic country. They're out of
Okay.
Xenia,
Yeah.
but they also they have an AM and FM for Xenia, which services Greene County. Joe will love this. Greene County, Montgomery County. He also has a station in Eaton serving Preble County, AM and FM, and in Wilmington serving Clinton County.
Is this Joe Mullins
Joe Mullins.
and the Radio Ramblers?
Yes.
I love that.
Well, the story goes back.
Yeah.
Joe's dad was a very famous DJ and played the fiddle,
Okay.
named Moon Mullins. Moon and I worked together in Middletown back in the 70s, and for a period of time, I was Moon's boss.
Got it.
So Joe, I reached out to Joe. Yeah, I'm here. Like for you to be a chamber member. He says, I got an idea for you.
Oh, nice.
So he walks in the office. He says, let's put Kert Radel back on the radio.
Okay.
So we have once a month, we do a chamber podcast or chamber chat
Got it.
where I take him over to the studio
Yeah.
and I record a 7 to 10 minute segment. Do it in one take,
Yep.
Yeah.
rock and roll from there.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like old days for me.
I love it.
That's awesome. What is it about?
What we do is we talk about them as their
the
business.
Okay.
But then I reserve the last 2 minutes or so to be a calendar to recognize an event coming up by us or what a chamber member may have in terms of a benefit.
Okay.
So that gives us that opportunity to have that kind of window.
Highlight a business, highlight a chamber.
Exactly.
Sounds brilliant.
The benefit from being a chamber.
Benefit by being a chamber member. So I do that. And then what's great is they send to me an MP3. So we're archiving it on our website. That'll be coming up soon.
Ooh, nice.
But right now, you can go to our website where it says new programs. On the homepage, click on that. You'll find out about the Women in Business, Leadership Fairborn, and Fairborn Connects.
That was going to be my next question. How, because we covered a lot of information. And so for our listeners and viewers, the best way
Is to go to our
review
website,
okay.
and everything says connect with me.
Okay.
Executive Director at fairbornchamber.com.
Perfect.
I'll talk to you. I'll come out and talk to you.
Awesome.
I'll do whatever it takes for you to understand the impact of what it is. I mean, I love the women in business because when I used to go to the dinner, you know, they only allow me to come to pay the bill. Okay. You are empowered to do what you feel is necessary, what you want to have to accomplish what you want to go to the next level.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. The end result is every year we're going to have an annual awards luncheon. But you don't do it, let's start the session in June and have a luncheon in September.
Right.
Way too early.
Yeah.
Got it.
You need to do this.
Yeah.
You need to have that impact. And like in golf, you talk about golf. A lot of chamber members, executives play golf, and that's great. Or they stand at a particular hole and they putt, or that's great. I drive around on the beverage cart, which makes me popular, but I also lie about how good a shot you took. So you may have scored a 12-foot putt. By the time we got to the clubhouse, that was a 22-footer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, we have fun.
That's the way it ought to
Yeah.
be.
It should be. It should be
People
fun.
together, having a great time,
One
helping
other
everybody's
thing,
business.
the Easter egg hunt, that is going to be coming up. You said it's
Easter egg hunt is April 20th, and what we
20th.
need for that, this is going to have an impact we are inviting kids in 3 different age groups from the city of Fairborn, from Bath Township, and the kids from Wright Pat
Okay.
to come over to participate.
yes.
The chamber pays for 10,000 plastic eggs, pays for the candy, pays also for prizes, and we buy 2 kids' bikes for each age group. Got to have a girls, got to have a boys.
Right.
Chambers don't have a budget for that.
Right.
We need cash donations to defray those particular costs. $50, $100, whatever you can. Contact the chamber. We will give you recognition because after the Easter egg hunt, you then go into the YMCA gym and you get your prizes and everything else.
Gotcha.
Super fun.
Also, we have a great photographer and we're going to have an Easter bunny. Again, another prize.
Sure.
So if you like, because you're having impact on kids, what they remember. I mean, I remember playing Little League Baseball in Green Hills and hitting a home run over the trees behind the community building onto the street on Farragut Avenue.
Yeah.
You remember these things
Sure.
and you thank those who make it possible. This is our 56th annual Easter egg hunt.
Marvelous.
That's amazing.
Big community event
Yeah.
Perfect.
in Fairborn.
That's perfect. Yeah. That gives everybody something to look forward to.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the date of that is
April
April 20th.
April 20th.
Easter Sunday.
What time?
You go to church. 2:00 is the hunt.
Okay.
And then you go into that. Of course, we're out there at 9:00 prepping,
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
and then everything else.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
Super fun. Well, this is great, Kurt. Anything else you want to add? I think we covered a lot of information. Everything
No,
that's
just
on
the
your
fact
list.
I'm a shy guy, as you can tell.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of a
Did you guys
wallflower.
notice that? Yeah.
I'm trying to get out, outside the box. No, I'm here because I want to be here. I want to help the Fairborn Area Chamber of Commerce. Great, friendly people. That's why I've been telling my wife, great people here. I have past directors, Tom Kirsch, Paul Newman Sr., Paul Newman Jr., Dan Kirkpatrick,
So good.
all a wealth of helping me navigate through this. We are trying to make this energize the chamber, make it a great community as it is, even better,
Yeah.
and try to make Fairborn where they continue to grow, and the chamber is going to be part of that particular picture and growth
I love
moving
it.
forward.
I love
Perfect.
it. Yay. Thank you so much.
Was that a
for
good
being
close?
Here. That was perfect.
Ta-da!
Yep, that was
It's
a
almost
perfect way
like
to
you've
close.
been in front of a microphone before.
A
Yeah,
little
you've done
bit,
this
a little
before.
bit.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, this
Thanks
is
so
great.
much for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Yeah,
Thank
if
you for
guys
having me.
Enjoyed this episode. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends and family.
Thank you.
Yay.
See you next time.
Alrighty, bye.
He's going to be the Easter Bunny. He doesn't know that yet.
Graham's gonna be
going to be the Easter Bunny. Yeah, he doesn't know that yet. But anyway,
Did his mom say?
yeah, we booked him. We booked him.